fraud, and abuse. I saw more mistreatment of our soldiers. And 2 weeks ago, a specific number to my heart grew. I had 8 friends that passed away in the War on Terror. 2 weeks ago, that number grew to 9. Lieutenant Gaffney from Pennsylvania. And to me, when I was over there with the guys that I served with, because many of you may know, may not know, I just got married 9 weeks and 4 days ago. 5 days ago. Don't clap for me, you should clap for her. No, I meant, well, clap for me, not her. Boy, I hope we're not taping this, she's gonna, when she finds that out. But I came back home frustrated because overseas, a lot of the guys that served with me, by the way, why I mentioned the wedding was because they came to my wedding. No matter what rank, and I happen to be a major right now, no matter what rank you hold, you are a Band of Brothers. And that TV series on HBO called The Band of Brothers is so perfect because unlike a marriage or unlike a relationship between a father and a son or a father and a daughter and a mother and a son, these are men and women that are not blood related, but yet you serve together and you grow close together for a year of your life, don't you? You really do. You grow so close because every moment and everything you do, you rely on each other. And there is no politics. Because once blood is spilled, you realize that there is no politics. And that the people in Washington are making decisions when they're truly uninformed. And to me, it all starts with the war. Because the war, we've spent billions upon billions of dollars, lives upon lives, and what do we have to show for it? And I hope somebody asks me my personal opinion about General Driscoll. I'll be very blunt on it. I hope somebody asks me that question. But anyway, let me put it to you this way. I came back home 41 weeks ago, about 41 weeks ago, actually 40 weeks and some days ago. And I came home frustrated, only to realize that the frustration was going to grow as I hit the soil. And you have no idea how good it feels to come home. It really does. Sergeant Shane Sharbo, who served with me from Taylor, Michigan, asked me, we were around a little campfire in Kenya, on the Somali regional state of Kenya. It's on the Somali border. This is part of the Afghanistan mission. Many of you probably don't know, we have soldiers in that area. It's called the Horn of Africa, stationed in Djibouti, and it's part of the Afghanistan anti-terror mission, all along the Horn of Africa. And this was my last mission where I saw a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse of your money, my money, all of our money, American money. And here's what really hit me. Shane asked me, out of all the places you could possibly go to, of all the places you visited, where would you want to be? And I told him, home. And we listened to this, there's a rock singer called Daughtry. Many of you may have heard of him or not. He sings this song about coming home. And boy, that really hits you. So you come home, and you're so ecstatic about being back on the U.S. soil, only to be frustrated again. And I was talking to a couple folks when they walked in today. To me, I grew up in an America where we believed in having an astronaut land on the moon. You made a decision, you made a dream, and you dreamed it, and you believed it, and it happened. Ronald Reagan, do you remember Ronald Reagan when he said, we will create the Star Wars Initiative, Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI. Remember how everybody poo-pooed it? Well, we now have it. It was a dream that they called the man in the wheelchair. Remember the electric wheelchair? Sting sang a song like that. And they talked about him having these dreams, but yet it became a possibility. We were a country that could put a man on the moon, do anything you ever wanted to in this country. Be anyone you wanted to. But yet, we can't plug a hole in the Gulf. And we can't create an armored vehicle except choosing one company, because we're down to one company in the United States that produces the steel to safeguard our soldiers against IED attacks and provides explosive devices. So now I'm more and more frustrated, and I come back home, and I had the pleasure and the honor, truly the privilege, of leading a group of people in a national business called Star Tickets. And that business competed with Ticketmaster, Tickets.com. We were, hopefully, you would consider us the good guys in the ticketing industry, because we didn't charge those exorbitant fees. But we turned the business around from losing lots of money to making lots of money. And I realized a very important thing. Be it in business, be it in military, be it in your private life, anything you do, especially in politics. People's lives, people's families' incomes depend on it. And I just want to share something with you that my wife is comfortable with me sharing. I left my business. I left as the CEO of Star Tickets. I sold my shares of the business. I left the military. I went into something called the Individual Ready Reserve, which means you kind of put your military career on ice. My wife and I have no income right now. We are doing this because that's how important it is to us. And she believed in the dream as much as I did. So let me tell you about my wife. My wife came from Lebanon, northern Lebanon. She's Maronite, she's Catholic. And my wife and her family was sponsored into the United States. Not illegal immigration, not legal immigration like you hear about today, where they get all the bennies. They were sponsored into the United States. She's a Catholic Lebanese Maronite. She was sponsored there. The reason they left Lebanon was because of the Civil War. We all know that that was predominantly sponsored by Syria, pushing money into unstabilizing Lebanon and creating Hezbollah, as many of you know. Well, it's funny because that's how I got to the United States. A little story of why I joined the military. I joined at age 17 as an enlisted soldier, as a private. So I don't do things the easy way. I went to infantry school, and then when I became an officer, I went back to infantry school, which many of those that know about the infantry, those are the ground combat troops. And you think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I'm glutton for punishment. But here's why I joined the military. And I really didn't understand why I really wanted to join the military. And then I kind of finally started to figure it out as I grew older and older. My dad was liberated by the 101st Airborne Division in a Nazi labor camp in Austria. My mom was liberated not by the Americans, but by the Soviets. She happened to be in a Nazi concentration camp outside of Auschwitz. So, to me, this is very personal. To me, this is personal because all of our lives, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. And people in Washington, I'm very frustrated with the fact that people in Washington are living on a credit card, buying their future by selling ours. And that's not just a soundbite, that's reality. Folks, think about this. If you vote for us, I will be there in Washington at the point where our nation will be teeter-tottering in an economic disaster. What do I mean by that? The election is in November of 2010, right? The federal budget for 2011 is being voted on as we speak. And it takes effect October 1, 2010. That's the 2011 fiscal year. It goes from October 1 to September 30th, 2011. And then 2012 kicks in. By the end of this year, and I don't mean to depress you, but by the end of this year, we will be at $14 trillion in debt. We just passed $13 trillion 3.5 weeks ago. We'll be at $14 trillion by the end of this year. And now, even if we send reinforcements or we send people to stop this madness in Washington, it will not take effect for another year. And where will we be in another year? David Littman, how many of you are from Oakland Township? A couple of hands? Perfect. David Littman is your neighbor. David Littman, senior economist for Comerica Bank. If any of you listen to Paul W. Smith in the morning, constantly appears, or I'm a student of Frank Beckman. This happens to be his home grounds, Rochester Hills. Frank Beckman has him on a lot. David Littman is a mentor of mine, and he'll tell you this. Once the country reaches 15.3 or 15.5, somewhere around there, trillion dollars, we will either A, default on our loans, and the economy will tumble because the dollar will lose all valuability, or all value, or we will raise taxes so high and cut so many programs that our economy will tumble. Or, lastly, we'll be able to do something that Greece was not able to do. Because Greece is part of the European Union, they're part of the Euro system. They can't print their own money. They signed away their right to print their own money. But we in the United States, we have a Federal Reserve Bank. We can print all the money we want all day long. And let me tell you something. This president is on a course, a destiny, a historical